Recording. Looking at the right view or the wrong view? Wrong view. Got it.
Wrong.
Right view?
Mm-mm.
Gosh. It even tried to tell me which one it was showing and it lied.
Nope.
So
Nope.
what? I'm literally clicking the swapping displays. Technical, it wouldn't be any type of Zoom situation without technical difficulties, everyone. Okay, let's try this. This should be correct.
Yes,
Yes.
that one.
Yay. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Thanks again for coming this evening. We're wanting to try and do these more regularly just so that we can provide an opportunity for anyone, whether you're a participant or a potential provider, are a provider, or really anyone who's interested in learning more about what we do at the Veteran Spouse Network, and what we have going on and really how to engage with our programming. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. As I've said, there will be ample time for questions. We've reserved some time at the end, but please feel free to also utilize the chat, or we may pause throughout just to see if anybody has any questions. So no stupid questions ever. Ask them as you have them. We really want this to be for y'all. Okay, so this is us, the Veteran Spouse Network. I know some of you guys are already a little familiar with us, but it is our mission to facilitate a network of support for military and veteran spouses and families. And of course, we're going to be talking a lot more about what that actually means and looks like. We are a small but mighty team in terms of actual staff. There are 6 of us. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I have 2 of our other staff members here as well. My name is Hannah O'Brien. I am the program manager for the Veteran Spouse Network. So in addition to still coordinating some of the programs day to day, I also kind of do all the big picture VSN stuff, and then also support our team members who are here today. So I will, and then I should say personally, I am myself a veteran spouse. My husband served in the Marine Corps, and I met him after he had already ended his military service. So I'm what we kind of refer to sometimes as a post-service spouse. So living this life as well. I'm going to turn it over to Lori Ann to introduce herself, and then you can pass it off to Ashley.
Hi there, I'm Lori Ann Rodriguez. I am a U.S. Air Force veteran and an active duty spouse for a little while longer. My service member is transitioning out, retiring 1 November, so it's creeping up on us fast. I was brought on board at the VSN about a year ago to work on the transition program, which we have.
It feels like.
Which we have. We've worked on that transition program, and we offer the up and out seminars. I'll go into a little bit more detail on what all we do in a little bit. But yep, I'm proud to be a part of the VSN team, and I'll hand it off to Ashley.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Craig. I am the outreach coordinator for the Veteran Spouse Network. I am also a veteran spouse. My veteran was in the Army. He was a combat medic and he was medically retired. I met him post-service as well. I actually joined our program as a participant for the Veteran Spouse Resiliency Program and absolutely loved it, became a leader. And then after that, I had the opportunity to be an intern for this program, and they offered me a position, which I absolutely love working with all of these ladies and wholeheartedly love this program. So as the outreach coordinator, I do our community outreach events. I go out and meet out with community and connect with military and veteran families, as well as talking with some of our other partners that are part of veteran organizations. And then I run our social media accounts. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then you can also follow us on Eventbrite to see what events that we have coming up.
Thanks, guys. So between our team, a lot of us live this life personally as well, even beyond the 3 of us that are here. So we're very passionate about the work that we do. And no surprise that we're running, a peer support organization, and we are ourselves peers. So we really care about what we do. We love talking to you guys and serving you guys. And we're in a growing phase as well. So we actually just added a team member 2 weeks ago, and are looking to add more soon. So you might see some new faces as you continue to interact with us as well. That's who we got today. Okay, so today we've talked about this, but I really just want to kind of go through who we are and what we offer in terms of our programming and how to really engage with us, whether you're a partner, a potential participant, or interested in becoming a volunteer peer leader with us. So we're going to kind of cover the gamut of all that. Okay, so what the heck do we do here? For those of you who are not as familiar with us, I always like to kind of start by explaining where we're situated. So we're not a traditional like 501c3 nonprofit, like a lot of other veteran service organizations. We are actually based out of the University of Texas at Austin, housed within the Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness. So that team you just saw, we also run that institute, which has a kind of wider mission that includes research, training, as well as practice. And really the Veteran Spouse Network is that arm where we are providing those direct services to you all. So that's kind of, if you ever see our UT logo or something like that, that is where we're based out of. So I'm here in Austin. Many of our team members are, but we also have a presence throughout the state. Ashley is in the kind of greater Houston area. Lori Ann is in New Braunfels. So we're kind of growing in terms of our reach just within our team as well. But the Veteran Spouse Network specifically, we started back in 2016. I joined the team myself on as the program manager in summer of 2017. So I've gotten to see a lot of the growth of this part of our organization. We really started first as being kind of just focused on serving post-service veteran spouses in Texas, really trying to figure out, okay, what do spouses need? And also engaging them in research, because we're part of a research institute. And through kind of that discovery of getting together with spouses and talking and discovering what they needed, we really found that the gap was this community, right? This peer-to-peer interaction, and that it really needed to be filled. So hence that's kind of where we are today, and where we'll talk more about that we've really tried to provide this peer-to-peer network community of support, not just for veteran spouses anymore, but also military spouses, partners, couples, family members as well, and not just in Texas anymore either, but nationally. So I kind of just mentioned this, but this is kind of who we primarily serve. We do have some opportunities available that might be available to veterans or service members themselves. But our primary population of focus are those military and veteran spouses, partners, couples, and family members. And I always like to say, when we say family members, that also includes individuals who are divorced or widowed from a service member or veteran. These are groups we've started hearing a lot more from in the last couple of years, who are looking for support, looking to stay connected to this community, and get support from this community, and who really don't have a lot. So a lot of our programs are available to those groups as well. So I always want to make sure people know that. And really our kind of philosophy is that, a service member and the veteran isn't the only one who is impacted by this life. The family is as well, and as such kind of are going through our own version of these experiences that require kind of their own unique supports. And so that's what we try to provide here. And we do that by creating these kind of communities of support that are based in peer groups and guidance. Okay, so what have we been able to accomplish? Oops. Some quotes out throughout here as well, because we like to we like to hear from our leaders as well as our participants about kind of how they've interacted with our programming. So this is one here from a leader. We all tend to think we are alone in our struggles, that no one gets it. It's crippling, but just to be able to talk to someone that is in the same place or has been in the same place once is such a tremendous relief and very freeing. I think this perfectly sums up a lot of the feedback we get from those who participate in our groups. A lot of what we hear from the community is, I really thought I was kind of alone. Like I was the only person who were dealing with these things. I felt alone in my experience. And then they're able to engage with others who are walking a similar path, and normalize those experiences and get support from people who aren't trying to, ask a million inappropriate questions or judging their experience, but really are like, yep, been there, got that, totally understand where you're coming from, and just hold that space for you, provide that support, that guidance. So that's really what we exist to do here. A quick little snapshot of kind of where we sit today. A couple things I like to pull out of this is we are a peer-based organization, which means in addition to the staff I showed you, really we cannot do the work that we do without our volunteer peer leaders. We don't exist without them. And at any given time, we have around 30 to 40 active leaders leading groups and meeting one-on-one with our participants. You'll get to meet some of them this evening as well. And they are true peers. So they are all members of this community themselves, passionate about serving you all. And we are very, very grateful for them. And then the other number I wanted to highlight here were the groups that we run. We really have a lot of opportunities for you guys to engage in programming with us. Sometimes are slower than others, but generally we have, anywhere from 4 to 8 groups running weekly, depending on what's going on. So there are a lot of opportunities to engage with us across a ton of different interest areas, levels of support you're looking for, etc., which of course we're all gonna get into and dive into this evening. Right now. So we have several programs. This highlights 3. We actually have added a 4th that we're gonna talk to you guys about this evening as well. And really it's all based in that peer support model that we've discussed. And kind of our aim is to help military and veteran families from active duty life to transitioning out of the military into civilian life, whatever we want to call it, and then really setting down those roots and living the post-service veteran family life. We want to be able to provide opportunities of support throughout that journey, because each stage of that journey is incredibly unique and requires different types of supports. And so we want to honor that and be able to provide that to you guys. All of our programming is free. So there's never going to be a cost associated for you guys to engage in our programs. And then something that's really important to us, we are, our team is based in social work research. We don't want to create programs that we think you need. We want to create programs that you tell us you need. So we try to do a lot of engagement directly with our community to say, okay, well, what are you guys needing support around? What are you not finding, in other organizations? We don't want to recreate the wheel when someone else is providing some great support to you already. And then once we create a program, we constantly touch base with both our leaders and our participants to get feedback and make sure this really looks the way that you need it to. And if it's not, figuring out how to make those pivots, those adjustments, so that it continues to be the support that you need. Okay, so kind of our longest running program is our Veteran Spouse Resiliency Group program. This is kind of tried and true peer support groups. These are curriculum-based support groups, meaning we have back in 2017 when we started this program, we developed a curriculum following that model I was just talking about, engaging with spouses to really say, okay, well, if we were going to do a peer support group, what would you want it to look like? What would the topics be? What would the format be? Like, what would actually benefit you? And came up with the 12 session curriculum. So really talking through all of the topics that impact veteran spouses. And this particular program is for post-service veteran spouses or partners, or those who are kind of creeping up on that transition window, know that their service member is within a year of getting out and ready to make that transition. This is also for that group. Because it really just focuses on those post-service life experiences. We're not talking about deployment cycles or, PCSing or anything like that. We're really talking about what life looks like once you're out. And so that's who this is for. It is led by our peer leaders. It is probably our most rigorously trained program. And so these leaders are amazing. They really know what they're doing. And are able to provide this amazing peer support to this group. It's really about providing spaces. While we do have a curriculum that drives it, the group drives the group. Group drives the group. The group drives the content, because every group is different. It's going to have a little different needs. And we want to make sure that this program, while structured with a curriculum, is flexible enough to meet the needs of each unique group. So it's really about providing that space where y'all can come together, share those stories with those who, again, understand it without judgment, talk through different strategies, challenges, support needs, and really just get that, support from the other participants in the group as well as the leaders. So that's kind of the high level of the VSRG. Originally, it was a 12-week program. And we still offer 12-week peer support groups if you're looking for that kind of higher level support. However, you can imagine when the pandemic first hit, 12 weeks, are you kidding me? I don't know what next week looks like. So it amazingly forced us to really pivot, and we've kind of adapted some options that are great so that you can kind of plug in with this curriculum at whatever your need level or bandwidth, level is any given moment. So we also do mini series, as well as even solo sessions. We might just pull one session out of the curriculum and offer it. So there are a lot of different opportunities to engage. We offer in-person groups in the state of Texas, looking to expand in-person opportunities nationally as well soon. But right now, just in the state of Texas, although our virtual groups are open nationally. So opportunities for you to engage no matter where you are. So there was a chat. Yeah, so this particular program, there's a question in the chat, is it so valuable program to take post-transition? This particular program, that's exactly what this is focused on. So you're going to be talking with other spouses who are also post-transition from military life, and that is the content. So we're not talking about active duty life in this particular group. So this would be a perfect program if your family is already out of military life. With that said, though, before I forget, because I don't have a slide on this, we are currently working on adapting this program for active duty spouses as well. So that is a project we do have funded and are working on. So that's something that will come, down the road soon, because we understand support needs are there as well. But it is a very different lived experience. So that is in the works. And so I just wanted to share some upcoming opportunities that we have to engage with the Veteran Spouse Resiliency Group program. We have a couple of upcoming mini series. We have a special Valentine's Day series that's going to be offered. Wow, that's next week. Next week, we have 3 sessions. Each session is open, so you can literally come to 1, 2, all 3, whatever works for your schedule. We're going to be talking about self-care, our relationships with our veterans, as well as kind of setting goals for ourselves and how to reach those goals in a meaningful way. And then in addition to that, we have a hybrid virtual in-person option, mini series group that's meeting monthly, where you can join in person if you're in the Addison, Texas, which is kind of North Dallas, if I'm remembering correctly, or you can join virtually from anywhere. I think so far everyone's been virtual, so it is a mix of participants. And that they're having their next session February 8th, and that's in the evening. So another opportunity if you just kind of want to see what it's about without signing up for a full-on, 12-week group. This is a great way to get a little taste. Okay, I see another question. So these sessions are not recorded because they are very discussion based. So it is a lot of people just sharing about their private lives. And so in that case, we don't record and share them to protect the privacy of the participants. So they don't get recorded because it is, and I should have said that too, like this is a discussion-based group. You're here to share your life experiences, get support. It's not like a class or a workshop. We have stuff like that, and we'll talk about that, but this particular group is not that. That was a very great question. We do have some upcoming in-person opportunities as well. If any of you guys are in Texas, we have 2 12-week groups that are starting later this month and in March. A group in Roanoke, Texas, with this kind of like north, like Denton area, as well as San Antonio, Texas. These are 12-week groups. So when we do the 12-week group, you are signing up for that 12-week commitment. We understand life happens, and if you're not able to make every session, that's just real life. No one's going to kick you out of the group. But we are asking, generally, you're making that commitment to attend all 12. So these are both 12-week groups and in-person opportunities coming up. But we do have some virtual group opportunities coming up as well. So we have a 12-week virtual group that's starting March 1st. And I know we're having a second one. They're just trying to nail down details. So hopefully later this week, we'll be publishing a second 12-week group that'll be offered virtually as well. And so no matter where you live, you can engage with our virtual programming. Someone asked our most during the day. No, we really try to mix it up. So you can see this is in the evening. One of the mini series was in the evening, one's in the day. We try to give you guys options because there's never any perfect time to do a group. We have learned, as most people who try to schedule things have as well. So we want to make sure we have a good mix of opportunities so that no matter what your kind of life, whatever schedule you need, we have something that you can partake in. So it should always be a good mix. And we try to have some weekend opportunities as well when our leaders are available. All right, I'm going to turn it over. And no expiration date on questions. So if you have questions about VSRG, keep them coming. But I'm going to turn it over to Lori Ann to talk about our social club program.
Hi again, I'm Lori Ann. I am a program coordinator at the VSN. That means that I am the one who is working with our volunteers, and I bring in a lot of our guest speakers for more of the educational content, not quite so much the support and rigors of a discussion-based group. What I love about the social club program is that it's flexible, and it really, like Hannah said, we really do want to listen to not only our volunteers, but to our network about what kind of things are they interested in? What do they want us to bring so that we can build this community, so that we are a network of support for each other as we navigate this crazy military and veteran lifestyle. Because it really is kind of a lifestyle that we're living. And I've been along the ride for, nearly 20 years now, and I have learned so much from our team of post-service spouses too, and their experiences being married to their veterans. And I think that's part of the beauty of the social club program, is that everybody gets to bring a lot to the table. So next slide, we're going to start to go through a few of the different upcoming offerings. This is current right now. Gretchen, she is one of our longest time peer leaders with the VSN, and she runs our Friday coffee chats. This is just a very laid back group where you can come and talk about all things veteran spouse life, military spouse, all things within this safe group. And then Craft Be Crazy is brand new. This is one of our newer peer leaders, Kat. I don't think she's on the call tonight, but this is going to be a fun group. This is no procrastinating. You have those crafts sitting around your house or projects that you're supposed to do. Well, we have a group for that. You come on out on Sunday mornings and you can log in and get it done, and share in a community of like-minded spouses and have a good time. Okay, next we have probably one of our most popular chats, and this is the VA claims process chat. We have 2 different claims process chats that we rotate here at the VSN. Richard, who is married to Janie, who's also on the call. He's a veteran service officer out of Coryell County, and he's going to kind of be a myth buster. He's going to talk to why veterans like myself, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, why do we put off filing for our claim? Why, what is the process like? I strongly believe that knowledge is power, and as spouses, you want to attend this and educate yourself for as much so that you know about the VA claims process. Your service member, of course, can attend with you. And then we have a brand new chat. This is Military Life. What did I get into? Spanish speaking group. We've had requests for this for a long time. And Carla has stepped up to the plate. She's bilingual, and she'll be leading a Spanish-speaking peer support group just to discuss the ins and outs of military and veteran spouse life. And that's coming up in February. And please help share that out, because this is a new offering, and we're very excited to have expanded our program to offer a Spanish-speaking group.
And Lori, and I forgot to add the 2 newest ones if you want to chat on the book club and the SAVE training before I move on to the in-person ones.
Oh, right. So a part of what we do is we offer different wellness and educational resources. So we have partnered with the VA to offer their SAVE training, which is suicide prevention training, about once a quarter. And we do have one coming up on March 1st with a representative of the VA, and he will be speaking and conducting this training. It's during the day. I believe it starts at noon on March 1st. That's our SAVE training. And then the book club is by one of our peer leaders, Sarah. She is, I'm not sure if she's on the call, but we have a lot of fun just discussing and getting together as a community to discuss different books. But that really is at the heart of the social club program, is that we have a lot of flexibility, and we have a lot of really great ideas and different groups coming all the time. So please stay tuned, and you never know, you might want to volunteer with us. Ooh, in-person groups. Now, so far, the Houston area is kind of beating the rest of the state on these in-person group offerings. But they have a lot of fun getting together and having date nights and building that community of support through just social outings. And Ashley, I know you've attended a few. It's been a strong group, and I hope to see it expand statewide.
But one thing I did want to emphasize too is this is a program, because there is so much flexibility, that we really love to hear from you guys as our network about stuff that you would like to see. So right now, it's very driven by our leaders, their passions. Many of our leaders have a lot of skill sets as well. They're not just volunteers, as no one is just a volunteer. But they have amazing skills. Many of them work in the veteran service organization profession or have other things to offer. And so they're really generating these topics, but we love to hear, and they love to hear as leaders, what you guys want to make sure they're really selecting topics that are hitting the mark with you and that, aren't stuff you're going to find elsewhere. Again, we don't want to reinvent the wheel if we don't need to. So always give us feedback. We want it. And then I think next is Up and Out, Lorianne, or VFT.
Yes. Okay. So as I mentioned in my initial intro, I am an active duty spouse for just a little while longer because I'm in the midst of that transition to becoming a veteran spouse, the spouse of a veteran. I am also a U.S. Air Force veteran, so I have gone through the transition process personally. When I was much younger and things looked very different. And that's a big part of the transition. We talk about the different types of transition within the transition program, whether it's a medical discharge, and we hope to be having some talks and chats come up about that in the near future. If it's a more traditional, I'm just separating, getting out of the military, how does that impact our life, financially, education, career, jobs? And right now we're in the middle of our education series of seminars. Yep, here it is highlighted. Or, there's the retirees, and a lot of their questions are based upon benefits and second careers, maybe going out after serving 20 plus years of service. So we have our different seminars that will highlight subject matter areas related to not just transition, but to anybody that's affiliated to the military community that wants to learn. So higher ed, military, and veteran benefits, it's going to expand a little bit beyond just using your GI Bill, or if you're in Texas, we have the Hazelwood Act, which is an opportunity for Texas veterans. It's going to talk about what universities want you to know as a military affiliated student, and how to best utilize those benefits. And so come on out on February 21st at 12 p.m. and bring your questions. Maybe you're thinking about going back to school. Maybe you are not even sure how to access your benefits. Maybe you're not even sure what university programs you might want to do. This is not a UT-centric thing. We have partnered internally with our own veteran and military affairs program, but this will touch on just a macro level of how to utilize higher educational benefits for our military affiliated students. And that's just one example of many of our different up and out seminars that we offer monthly. We've talked about finance, we've talked about couples and relationships, we've talked about housing, and we just keep circling around these transition themed. And again, not just transition, anybody in the midst of this lifestyle might be interested in the subject. It's just an educational and professional based seminar that we have coming up. And I hope to see all of you on the 21st.
Lori Ann, don't you have something regarding travel too, or?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. My travel social club. Now this one's kind of been my baby. Yes. So I love to travel, and this has been one of the highlights for us as a couple, as a military spouse couple, and this is also an area where we feel we haven't even scratched the surface of all of the different military benefits out there for traveling. For instance, I just did a talk on Space A travel, and we brought in a guest speaker from the blog Space A the World, and she has tracked over 40 different Space A flights herself, many of which she did on her own with the kiddos. And we talked about the Space A process and the ins and outs on how to catch those flights, because I've done it, but I don't feel as experienced. So I brought in a little bit more of a subject matter expert to help me on that. We've talked about Hawaii, we've talked about the DC area, and I just love connecting with our leaders and our leaders who have had amazing travel experiences using some of those military benefits. So yeah, that's been my baby on the Travel Social Club, and we do have one coming up pinned down today for March 7th. And we will be going back and talking about lots and lots of different military campgrounds and facilities on March 7th at 11:30 a.m. this time.
And this just scratches the surface. This is what is on our calendar now. There is tons of stuff in the works. I think we're talking about another book club, a macrame, club, some wellness chats. So just we're going to tell you about how to, oh, it says I did it. Somebody put our link to, oh, that was VSRG, but we're going to show you our calendar and stuff so you know where to access all this stuff. So always check it, because there is literally week to week, we are adding new opportunities and groups. So there is always good stuff to engage in. Okay, there we go. Thank you. And then finally, this is a newer initiative for us that we kind of started this summer, the Resiliency Check-in Program. Everything we have talked about up until now, you can see were groups or seminars, groups of people coming together to learn or chat. And we see a lot of value in that, and we've seen a lot of value in that, or heard a lot of good stuff from our participants, but we understand that that might not be what everybody needs, even in the peer support world. So our resiliency check-ins provide one-on-one peer support, because sometimes you just need to talk to one person. You may not need to talk to a whole bunch, or may feel like that's not, the level of support you're really in need of in that moment, and that's totally okay. So our resiliency check-ins, a lot of our peers who do lead in our groups have volunteered to make themselves available for these one-on-ones. These are open to military and veteran spouses, partners, family members, again, with that including individuals who are divorced or widowed from a service member or veteran. And essentially, we kind of, when you sign up for a resiliency check-in, we kind of ask if you're willing to share, kind of what kind of support are you looking for? Is there a particular type of leader you're interested in? Like, oh, I really want to talk to a veteran spouse, or I really want to talk to a military spouse. We do our best. Obviously, we can't guarantee we're working with the volunteers that we have, but we do our best to match you with somebody, if you have any preferences, who feels, they have a similar experience and they can share in that with you. Something important that we really emphasize here is this is still peer-to-peer. This is not clinical counseling. This is not therapy of any kind. Our peers are amazing, don't get me wrong, but they are peers. So they are serving in a peer role. And then we kind of work with you and they work with you if you're looking, okay, hey, that was great, but I also am looking for this additional support of maybe a professional resource or counseling as well. And that's something in general that we also want to be able to serve in that role, that if you guys are looking for resources beyond peer support, come to us and let us know. It's hard as a military or veteran spouse sometimes to figure out what's out there and available for you. And it's hard even though we're plugged in, right? This stuff is ever evolving. It's not always super transparent. If a veteran service organization serves the family, and if so, how they do. So we do a lot of work also trying to figure that out. What organizations really serve our population and how do they do that, so that we can provide you guys with those good resources if you are looking for clinical counseling or financial counseling or career counseling or whatever it might be, that we have good places to point you to it as well. But for this, that's peer-to-peer, it can be phone-based, a phone call or Zoom. If magically, you live in an area and a leader lives in an area and you're both open to meeting in person, then you can do that as well. But that's pretty rare. So this is just another opportunity that we've seen participants really take to, and some do it in addition to groups, some really this is all they're looking for. So this is an opportunity to get some support as well. Okay. And here we have a quote from one of our participants. You need the ones who have been there in your shoes, and our experiences are different than the service member or the civilian spouse, and we need people to walk with us through those bad days. Now, this is a time I love to occasionally, I'm never going to call anybody out, but occasionally we have people join us on here who have participated in our programs before. So I love to open it up if anyone has participated in our groups and would like to say a little bit about their experience. Please feel free to come off mute. Literally no pressure. Okay. If not, I'm gonna have Ashley share a little bit from her experience when she like she mentioned she started with us as a participant in the BSRG program. So Ashley, if you wanted to share a little bit.
Yeah, so I actually started the program back in 2019. It was right at the hit of pandemic and home alone all the time with my veteran, and joined this group, met some fabulous women. I had two amazing leaders, and we were all over the US. We weren't just in Texas. And we got to come together for 12 weeks and really build not just a bond, but a lifetime friendship. Actually, I get to see some of them this weekend. And I'm super excited about that. And it took me on a journey from learning about what self care was for myself and how important it was to make myself a priority, and that self care is not selfish, it is self preservation a lot of times. But it also helped me understand my veteran more as we went along, like how to communicate to him what my needs were. We did talk about a lot about what that looks like in our household, talking about our different perspectives that each of us have been through. Me being a post-service spouse, there was also spouses there that have been with their service members all through the time of their service. So I got to see from their perspective and learn from them. And it was just amazing to know that I wasn't alone, and, the challenges that we faced as a veteran couple, and really enjoyed it. So I became a leader and enjoyed leading the groups and meeting amazing women along the way. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I always recommend our program because it really gets you the opportunity to connect with others who just get it, honestly.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, the story I tell from my personal experience was when I met my husband, I had no connection or understanding of military culture. Like my grandfather had served, but no one talked about it. No one knew anything about it. And I was like, all right, well, now I have this Marine. This is a huge part of his identity. Like, what have I gotten myself into? And the truth is this type of programming did not exist. I was actually getting my social work degree at the time. And I started asking my professors, like, where are like support groups for like family members of veterans? Like, I need to talk to people who like understand. I can ask some questions, that sort of thing. And there was nowhere to go. So it has been truly amazing getting to work with our leaders to build this program, all that sort of thing. So I saw Debbie's here, one of our leaders and past participants as well. So Debbie, please share.
Hi, everyone. My name is Debbie Wilson, and I'm in the Houston, Texas, northern Houston, Conroe, Texas area. I wanted to bounce off of what Hannah just said. I grew up with, my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and I saw where my mom, there were no like support groups back then for family members. So I think this is a great thing that that people are hopefully able to find along the way. I participated in the BSRG 12-week curriculum back in, I want to say I started out in the fall of 2022, I think. It might have been a little bit earlier, but my son was a senior in high school. So there were some of the times I wasn't able to come in person. So I missed a few of the weeks, but it was always great connection. I was able to build friendships with the ladies that I met in person, but also learned a lot of stuff about myself and how to be a better veteran spouse to my husband. And then I wanted to take the 12-week curriculum again. So I did that, but at that time, my other daughter was a senior in high school as well. So it just sort of meant, it was like, you still go though, because you get a lot out of it. So I was a participant 2 different times in the 12-week BSRG curriculum. And then I became a leader myself. And so I do the in-person social clubs in the Houston and Conroe area. And I'm also a one-on-one resiliency check-in leader. So, but my husband, I'm a post-service spouse as well. My husband was in the Army. And I am an Air Force veteran, and then I'm a Blue Star mom. So my son was active duty transitioning into be a veteran. So
Thanks for sharing, Debbie. Yeah, as you can see, and as as actually I'll segue, that's a perfect segue into talking. Oh, wait, I might actually skip this and come back, Ashley, about our leaders. This is just a little snapshot. There is Debbie. Debbie's right there. Of our leaders, but we have amazing leaders. Many of our leaders start in our programs. And so just as Debbie shared, to kind of get this experience and then say, hey, maybe I could, take this to the next level and really continue to make this impact. I always say, if you're considering being a leader in one of our programs, I'm going to bust the myth right now that you need to have your life together, because that is not real life, right? That's part of being a peer, is that, we're leading this life as well, even as staff we are. I get peer support from, like getting and being in this organization and working with our leaders. And you have so much to offer as those with this lived experience. So if this is ever of interest to you, we have a lot of different leadership. Every single one of those programs we talked about has an opportunity to get involved as a peer leader, regardless, again, whether you're in Texas and want to do in-person stuff or virtual stuff, or our national. We started, as you can see, some of our on the right hand, we started having more and more leaders come to us from out of state, which is great. That link that was just shared is what this links to as well. I think we have some other leaders on the phone. No pressure, but does anyone else want to come off and introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm Janie Smith, and I've been with I was in the initial training of the first group of leaders in the fall of 2018. And I am so impressed with this group, with Hannah as a program leader. She is phenomenal. The ladies that you see here, pictured here, as well as Ashley, Lorianne, and Debbie, we're just phenomenal women. I mean, just bunches together, and we are so powerful. And what one person doesn't know, somebody else does. And if we need it, nobody knows it, we look it up and try to figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, we keep on searching until we come up to some kind of conclusion and make a journey of it. But I just love, I've worked in many capacities as a VSRG leader, social club leader, trainer, and currently doing one-on-ones, which I really love because I can dive deeper and more personal. But I just don't have the time to do the 12-week program right now. Otherwise, that is my favorite group. Besides the one-on-one, those two leading the 12-week group, because the women just come together, and it's just phenomenal how they feel so relieved that we get it as leaders, and we're not judgmental. Just spill it, tell it like it is. We tell it like it is as leaders, because I've been a spouse for almost 50 years now, start in March, and I'm still learning, and I still have a lot to learn. And I learn from Hannah, Lorianne, Ashley, Debbie. Every time we have leaders meetings, I'm always learning something new. And the energy is just amazing. There's nothing like it. And I could go on, but I won't. But if we really welcome you into the group, and appreciate your attendance tonight, and hope you join us.
Thank you, Janie. And we appreciate you guys for coming on tonight and sharing. As you heard both from Debbie, I combined your names, Debbie and Janie. What's cool too is there are a lot of options for you guys if you're interested in leading. Just as Janie was talking about, she kind of floated through some of the programs, came in initially with BSRG, so did Debbie, went into social club, have the opportunity to do those one-on-ones. So there really are options, and know that, like, as a team, if you're considering this and coming on with us as a leader, like, again, we're peers, like, we understand the life, that there are changing demands, your bandwidth one, spring may not be the same as it is in the fall. And we work with you to figure out, okay, well, what are you able to bring to the table, what works for you, and try to be very supportive of our leaders. We're actually doing a leader retreat this weekend. It's our first in-person leader retreat where we're coming together. So we also try and provide those opportunities again, where we can kind of be our own peer support group. So I definitely highly encourage, if anyone's thinking about, hey, maybe I have something to offer. Again, you don't have to be an expert. We don't even want you to be an expert. We want you to be a peer. We want you to have that life experience and have a passion to serve, and give back and learn and be with us. So if that's something you're considering at all, this takes you to our application, and then we meet with you and talk about what the best fit is. So definitely consider getting involved if you're even the slightest bit curious or interested, and we can talk about what that would look like. So that's peer stuff. I'm going to back it up so that Ashley can talk to you about all the different ways that you can make sure you stay up to date on what we have going on and how to engage.
All right. So I am going to be putting in the chat our February VSN calendar of events. And so you can download that. And we have one each month with the upcoming events, and they have all the registration links. It'll get you connected there. You can also, I put in there, you can follow us on Instagram, and the handle is there, Veteran Spouse Network. I can't even talk tonight. And you can also look us up on Facebook as well. If you want to get involved as a partner, I can also send me a direct message and I can send you our partner toolkit, which will give you access to all of our graphics. So you would love to share them out with your community, your military and veteran families. We would love for you to do that, and we give you a partner toolkit with all the graphics ready for you to go. And that's it. You can scan the QR code. You can also sign up for our mailing list, and I will put the link for our mailing list in the chat as well. And that's it.
And if you join our mailing list, we send out our communications about our Veteran Spouse Network initiative, but we also have a separate mailing list for our institute. So again, if you're a partner, or I know a lot of us as spouses are wearing multiple hats, and we kind of work in this field as well as live this life. So if that side of the house interests you as well, then that gets you signed up for those types of communications as well. And like Ashley said, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We have a LinkedIn profile if you're on LinkedIn. Our Eventbrite, you can follow us on Eventbrite, and it'll actually notify you every time we add an event, so that you don't even have to think about checking. And then we have that, events calendar on our website, and the awesome graphic that Ashley put together and shared with you as well. And I think, and then if we have any organizations or partners on here, there are a million ways to partner with us. If you want to be a host site for a group, for something in person, or co-do some sort, or be a speaker at one of our seminars, please, if you're interested in getting involved with us at all, we really like lifting up organizations that are doing good work with this community. Again, we are not trying to tackle things we don't have business tackling. We want to leave that to the experts, and kind of highlight good, high quality organizations that are serving spouses in capacities that we are not. So definitely also reach out to us if you're interested in partnering in any way. I know I appreciate all of you guys so much for bearing with us as we talked to you for an hour, but I'm going to stop my screen and just see if there were any lingering questions you guys had for us about anything to do with us, programs, opportunities. And I am going to stop the recording in case anybody, has a question they don't want recorded. So I'm going to do my little thank you for coming sort of thing. And then let me